my name's Gwen, and today I'm talking a little bit about my experiences teaching about integer addition and also a little bit about what I've learned so far in this module. So, we talked a little about the zero identity property of addition, the inverse integers make zero, and the commutative and associative properties of addition. So, integers addition is a topic that I've definitely found my students struggle with a lot. So I teach pre-algebra and algebra 1, and a lot of them have a little bit of a rocky foundation in the years of math that come before pre-algebra and algebra 1. So as soon as negatives start becoming involved, true integer operations, such as addition in this case, I find that they start to get confused. So when I talk basically about zero inverses making zero, -2 and 2, it's, understandable enough. But as soon as that applies to a little bit, different absolute values of numbers, like -3 and 5, that's when they start getting confused. So that's definitely something that I find that some of the manipulatives may be helpful with. So I haven't really used manipulatives a whole lot. I think the digital ones will especially be helpful in today's learning culture, seeing that a lot of education is digital and virtual, and my school right now actually is virtual again. We were virtual, then hybrid, then in person, and now we're virtual again. So I think the virtual manipulatives will be probably more helpful right now than physical manipulatives just because of the situation. So one example I have used, a kind of an analogy I've used, is the idea of owing money. So say you owe $3 and now you owe $5 more. How many do you owe? Or you owe $20 and now you're paying back $5. Now how much do you owe? So I found that that's a little bit helpful in teaching integer operations that involve negatives. I do really like the manipulative, where it uses the counters. So there were the positive counters and the negative counters, and they kind of cancel each other out. I thought that was helpful, and definitely a lot of other manipulatives that I could utilize in the future. Commutative and associative properties also seem to get a little confusing to my students. So as soon as you start grouping them differently, the idea of, adding a negative is the same as subtracting, they start to get a little confused. And I think also one thing I've realized, especially in, listening to this lecture and learning this module, is that I don't necessarily always use the proper terminology. Not on purpose, but I will throw it out there. And as soon as I realize I don't necessarily know what it means, but they get the concept of it, I'll kind of simplify it a little. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think that I really should probably work on also tying in that terminology as I simplify it so they know what that means. So there's definitely a lot of things I think I can improve on my teaching of addition with integers. And especially when it gets to decimals and fractions, they really have to know these basic things. And some of this, some of these are things they should know already, but they don't, or they don't remember it, or, a lot of, things with the pandemic and everything, they've really held them back. So I really enjoyed what I learned in this module so far, and I definitely plan on using it and expanding upon it to help with the education of my students.